And welcome to week 5 of the Creative Business Strategies Marketing Alliance and Mastermind. I'm David Sanders, I'm your host. And today we're going to be talking about the magic of Facebook ads. And we're very privileged to have a good friend of mine and very long-term hardcore marketer, Tony Rockcliffe, who will be sharing a lot of hot off the presses information with our mastermind today. So first of all, to set the stage, what we are doing is we're taking the confusion out of marketing. From my observation, marketing has become a great deal more confusing since the introduction of the internet and social media and all the other fun things that we are playing with these days. So I think that it's only appropriate that we figure out how it's done in today's environment, at least as rapidly as new things get introduced to make what we did yesterday obsolete. So by actually providing correct data, we overcome the primary barrier to doing it right, which is that poor information leads to bad decisions. And so here's what I'm hoping that we all look like by the end of our presentation. Well, maybe not everybody's capable of looking like that. Jack probably would need a little extra hair. But thank you, Mary Kay. That was good. Okay. I've got 2 rules for the mastermind, as most of you know. One is if you have questions, please ask me using Zoom's chat box or the text to my cell, which is the number you see there. And then I got a little note here from Kathy to all that, sorry, her audio doesn't work, but she is here, so I'm glad to have Kathy. And the second rule is when Tony or I or whoever's speaking requests a response, please show some form of life. So that's a deal? Okay, Jack showed too much life. Okay, that's expected. Okay, thank you, Mary Kay. Now, quick survey. Here's the time where you go over to your chat box and kind of start banging out some answers. An earlier time, I believe in week number 2, we talked about surveys. So type surveys if you have either recently done some surveys, you're working on some surveys, you're in the process of getting something going on surveys, you've just done some surveys, any of that kind of stuff, please type yes. If you're in progress, IP, of course, and if no surveys, blind. That's what we call blind archery. Having the old blind swing over and aiming at the side of the barn, hopefully. So we've got mostly yeses and sorry, no, that's not right. My goodness, it's mostly blinds. No surveys yet, not yet. Yes, oh, good. Jack's been doing it. Not recently, good. Recently did 2 surveys, but blind. Oh my goodness. I do understand. I've recently done some surveys, and I'm still kind of feeling my way through on some of the areas. All right, now the next question is, we've been talking about responsive websites, and did a nice run on that. Wanted to find out if you are making progress toward your website being responsive, or if you've already handled it and so forth. Type in mobile, because that's what, after all, a lot of the responsiveness has to do with. And then if your website is not yet responsive, or you haven't taken any action to make it responsive, please type in old. That's not referring to your age, it's referring to the, unfortunately, antiquated age of your website. Good, so Elke's working on the website built, Tony's mobile, Joel's mobile. Good, good. And let's see, there was somebody that wanted to know what's a blind survey. Well, it's not a blind survey. It's just if you don't find out what people need and want by surveying, or find out exactly how to position your company or whatever it is, then you're going it blind. And so that's why I put you either have surveyed or you're going it blind. That's the point. So we got a bunch of old, working on website, mobile in the middle of creating responsive. Good, Doug. Jack's working on it. Good. Now, third question. Last week, we talked about citations and directory listings. Tony was kind enough to provide all that insightful and helpful data. He gave us the link to moz.com, or I think it's moz.com, moz.org. If you're working on it, type in cite, and so you're doing citations. Or if you haven't worked on the directory listings and your citations, type in unlisted, which is where you currently are, most likely, either incorrectly listed or unlisted. Okay, so we've got several sites from Jack, Joel, Ellen, Elke's unlisted. We got some other folks. I've been working on, as a matter of fact, working hard on it, and found that we had quite a wide variety of things. Since I moved to Clearwater, I've actually had my office located in several different places, and so I've been busy trying to get that all ironed out. So, Doug, unlisted, okay. Anybody else want to pipe in on, have you been working on your citations and directory listings? Let's hopefully get that going. And then last point here is Jack Potter presented on branding last week, and so have you been working on your branding or your logo, or you're properly branded, have a good logo? Type in logo if that's the case. If you're not happy with your branding and you're not working on it yet, you can type in blah, which is kind of how it turns out if you don't polish up that branding occasionally. So let's see, Ellen's got a logo, we got a blah up above that. Kathy is working on her logo. Let's see what else we got. Okay, and we got Joel's got a logo. Mary Kay missed it, but she'll pick that up later. But she's got a company logo, that's good. Tony, some clients are working on their logo. Jack Potter says, I'll take it from blah to bitchin'. Matt's done, a few items still being updated. Tony's working on it. So, yeah, looks like we made some nice progress in that. Good, so that brings us now to our challenges and promises for today's Mastermind. The first is that you're going to be learning key features and benefits of Facebook ads. And some of these are almost unknown. So we're going to be amongst the first to find out about some of these great features. Another is we're going to be talking about how to make them work for you. And this one fascinates me, how a sales funnel can be built entirely by Facebook ads. And by sales funnel, we're talking about you got the great unwashed masses, and you get that down to a list that's a target list, and you get that down to prospects, and you get that down to hot prospects, and you get that down to people you presented to, and then you close that, and that's where you get the money. That's a sales funnel, and that can be built now by Facebook ads. So that's a pretty amazing thing. The 9 steps key to successful list building and sales and via Facebook ads. 9-step keys. Okay, there we are. Now, new Facebook landing page rules, why Facebook pixels are so amazing. And Tony's told me a little bit about this. And wow, it does seem really cool. And the 9 factors that influence whether your ad works or not. And this may apply more broadly than Facebook, but certainly we're going to zero in on this vital area of technology that I think is going to be if one of the, if not the hottest new areas of marketing. So I'm very excited that Tony has put this together and do a quick survey here of our group. So question number 1, have you used Facebook ads? So type, if you have, type FB in the box. And you can type no if you haven't used them yet. Only once? Elke's used them once. No, not yet, not yet. Once from Mary Kay? No. No. Okay, well, guess what? And Matt, no. Tony, you've got a bunch of Facebook virgins on your hands here. So now, if anybody, oh, Mary Kay laughs at my joke. This is always nice. I'm so glad that she's here. I need somebody to laugh at my jokes. My wife says I need to wave a sign that says joke. Did these work? So if you have tried Facebook ads, type worked. And if you tried them and they didn't work, type flop. If you haven't tried them, you don't have to type anything on this one. Okay, Mary Kay got a flop. Let's see. Elkie, was that you that had done them once before? Yeah. Did yours work for you? You said no. Okay, so apparently we've got a clean slate here. Nobody's coming in knowing best. So to introduce Tony Rockcliffe, I've known Tony for over 30 years. He's a well-known musician, producer. I produced a long string of very big bands and recorded them and so forth. Starting at he was at Abbey Road in London where the Beatles recorded. He was a lot of places. He still does that. He also has spoken at the Google Summit here in Tampa the last 2 or 3 years. He's usually the keynote speaker there. So he's been following very closely what's happening there. And he recently decided, and he can tell you more about this, but just as a quick intro, he recently decided that he wanted to learn more about Facebook advertising. He was told by a guru whom he respected that if you had to just have one thing that you were good at and delegate everything else, that one thing should be Facebook advertising. And so he is going to zero in on that one thing for us. So he started taking 8 courses on the subject, and as I mentioned that last week, he corrected me and said, oh, it's now 12 courses he's taking on Facebook advertising. So he is at, after my begging, pleading, arm twisting, and whatever I could do to get him to share some of what he's learning, he's put this presentation together, and we are the first in the world to receive that data. So I would like to end off on the screen share and enable Tony to pop right in and share his screen. And here we have Tony Rockcliffe. So I've unmuted your audio.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, let's see. Just trying to find the right screen.
I understand.
Okay, I'm going to close it for a second because it says it's not responding. Oh, it says Zoom meetings is not responding. Oh, okay, here it is. It's temporarily not responding.
Okay.
Can you see a screen that says the power of Facebook ads?
I can. It's your whole PowerPoint presentation, both sides, the slide.
Yeah.
Right.
How about now?
Now it's your slideshow. We're happening.
Good. I've turned the fan off, which is why I keep wiping my face because it's so hot in this annex. But yeah, so today we're going to take quite an in-depth look at Facebook ads. But first, a public service announcement about the internet. Okay.
Hey, the truth.
Right, okay. So some of the benefits of Facebook ads are they're very inexpensive to try different ads. You can try them, $5 a day, which is not a lot. You can target your audiences very precisely by interests and activities, and I'm going to show you a little bit of that later. You can create and save custom audiences, different kinds of audiences for different aspects of your products or services. And you can create what are called lookalike audiences. In other words, if you have created a custom audience, which I'm going to show you a little bit later how to do, or even if it's from your email list, you can ask Facebook to go through its 2 billion people and find people that have similar demographics and add them and create a lookalike audience for you to target, which is a very cool feature. You can retarget. This one is fantastic. Very often, people get visitors to their websites, and the vast majority of those people look at the site and don't do anything, and they vanish. But with Facebook, with a tool that I'm going to show you a little bit later, Facebook has it set up so that anybody who comes to your site, and no matter from where, and leaves without doing anything, they get nagged by Facebook, who gives you access to them so that you can retarget them, which is a wonderful feature. You can track responses to ads in great detail via the Facebook ad reports. I mean, you can really see how your ad is doing and how you need to tweak it and fix it. You can target your email lists. You can upload your email lists into Facebook and create a custom audience from them to which you can send Facebook ads. You can get a lot of information on your publics and even your competitors via the Facebook Insights tool. And Facebook, of course, with 2 billion members around the world, has huge potential reach. So that's some of the benefits. Now, many people try putting up a Facebook ad, get little in the way of results, and then say, Facebook ads don't work for me. The problem is usually that they didn't really know how to do it effectively. Or perhaps they weren't aware of the valuable tools within Facebook ads that can expand their reach so much more. Facebook ads enable you to target and automatically retarget people with very specific interests in very specific locations and with very specific demographics and even activities and income levels. And just to mention something, or just add to what David said earlier, as some of you know, I've been basically making a living off the internet for 20 years now. And the last 17 of those years, I got very involved in search engine optimization, SEO, keyword research, and got really good at it. But then over the last 5 years, Google started to really target SEO people because they wanted people to buy their pay-per-click ads rather than getting free search from SEO techniques or keyword research techniques. And last January, I did a project for a client, and I found that with the changes Google had made, it took me literally 3 times longer to get the same results. And I realized that if I charged 3 times what I was charging, I wouldn't have too many clients. So I started looking around for, there must be something else out there. And that's how I kind of actually got involved in Facebook ads and found that they're even more precise and even more targeted and even more wonderful. So I'm very excited. So while I still can do keyword research and do it occasionally for people, I'm much more interested in what can be done with Facebook ads. Actually, let me see if I can, I'm just looking to see if I can find the chat window while I'm in this mode. It looks like, oh yeah, there it is. Oh no, it's not, it's hiding. Chat, there we go. Because I just want to ask a question. Any questions on what I've mentioned so far?
So far, no.
Okay, cool. And you can always put questions in the chat box. And I can look at the questions and say, David will answer that. So some people think that Facebook ads means only those ads on the right side of Facebook. You know, these ones here, if you can see my mouse. But many of the posts you see in your news feed here these days are ads, as you may have noticed. And these are the ones that are very powerful if done right. But here's a key thing. Many people don't realize that Facebook ads also follow all the traditional rules of internet marketing. This is a very key point, as you'll see. Many times people think that since they have a product or service to sell, they'll just put up a Facebook ad targeted to people with the right interest and they'll sell lots of products. Now this can indeed happen, but it more usually happens to the people who built up the foundation that enables this to more easily occur, most usually called a sales funnel. As David mentioned before, it's a marketing system. It's the ideal process you intend your customers to experience as they go from prospect to lead to customer to repeat buyer. Fortunately, thanks to Facebook ads, as you're going to see, building a working sales funnel can be done a lot faster and a lot more easily than it might have been in the past. By building your sales funnel, you're truly building for your future, as you'll see. Now, people are usually on Facebook to interact with their friends. So why should they drop everything to buy your product? Well, even if they are potentially interested, they may not be ready at that moment to buy. In fact, the majority of them won't be, but may well be ready later, except that later they very often have forgotten about it or may have unanswered questions about it that make it hard for them to make a buying decision. So the game with successful over the long-term Facebook ads is to initially focus more on building a relevant audience than on trying to sell one product. Part of the reason for this is that out of 100,000 correct publics, perhaps 20% has a potential to buy, given time and nurturing, being given helpful information, etc. But most are not ready to do so now. Maybe 0.5% will buy now if you're lucky. People are more likely to buy from people they know, like, and trust, and you have to build that trust. You can't usually just go trying to sell to people if you haven't spent the time to build an audience of people ready to buy from you. If you do, you might make some immediate sales, but you can also kill your future potential audience.